So previously, the group of you have traveled to Brigand's Hold. After determining pursuing Len's presence in Elderthorn was a potential fool's errand, you saw fit to take a more short-footed road. Through the henge you went, after making a brief teleportation to Urcrypt, spending the evening to allow Dunan's ability to get you all out of Dodge, to recharge, and you've all been putzing about the island city Taltha of Brigand's Hold. The group of you have learned a number of things. The area itself is controlled by the Devil's Buccaneers, a pirate group that your most recent companion Jaya has had less than savory run-ins with in the past, and currently carries some of their contraband upon her person at all times. You've seen a few interesting individuals. You've learned how to identify which members of this community are, in fact, also members of the Devil's Buccaneers. You've learned it's best not to pick fights or be seen in fights with any of their members. A fight against one is a fight against all. And you've learned the cost of betrayal of the crew being the severing of a hand. And the removal of that tattoo that marks the membership. You've purchased rooms for the evening with the ability to extend the stay of luxury that you've procured for yourself, should you see fit. You've purchased some herbs with the individual, Belny, who's taken over the former establishment here in town. And you've run into a peculiar and possibly daft map salesman who was missing the archetypal hand. And upon some of your questioning about the wards of teleportation concerning the great keep of Brigand Hold, suspected of the two of you that were there of ill intent, and has offered you a deal. He would allow you to traverse into the negative ethereal, the realm in between teleportation, as a means of committing your burglary. He knows not that which you seek, but he knows you're going for something, or a great number of somethings, be it the case of coin. But in exchange, he has asked you to procure for him a book, which he knows Lady C is in possession of. A leather-bound tome of no name that has a tongue nailed to the front of it. We are picking up today in the late evening as you are reconvening to share news of your initial day's foray around Brigand's Hold. The time is yours.
So are we in the room now?
You are.
Alright, so I'll find Shia and bring her up to speed. And he told us that we could get in with his magic and whatever, but I'm not smart enough, but if we have to grab something and we are not on this plane, but on another plane, we can't grab that stuff we want, so... And he didn't give any clue how we can grab the stuff from that different plane, so... You're smart, right? You can figure it out.
Would she know anything about?
Make me an Arcana check. I will say make it with advantage as well. Due purely to the fact of as your compatriots are relating this tale, you are getting some degree of information, which would help jog your memory. If anything, go ahead and roll one. Oh, 14's above it. Gotcha. 18. You know some things of the negative ethereal. It is more in theory than in practice, obviously. And you've not been there in any real permanency other than the times during which you use your teleportation magics. You know that the environment is generally considered hostile. There are some creatures that can shift between the material plane and this negative plane. Some types of hags and a type of spider known as a phase spider has the ability to shift themselves from one to another and not exist in the material plane whilst they are in the negative ethereal. And you suspect there's a great deal more that you could probably research about this, given a bit of time. As it's not a deep magical secret, it's just not something that would have been traditionally covered in your studies, specifically.
Also, Dunan, you mentioned that they could help us get in, but they didn't mention anything about getting out, right?
Yeah, yes, and that's the next problem. We cannot teleport in or out. One guy tried it, some time passed, and he split in half. So his legs were somewhere else, and his body winded up inside the keep. So rather not teleporting.
He got spliced halfway in between. He was not severed.
No. But he
His
has a
face.
big scar on his face, like the elf guy that we saw earlier in the inn that we were staying in.
Correct.
It sounded unpleasant, so rather not teleport, alright?
Which is the Mariner's Rest, by the way. That's where
Also,
you're staying.
just to clarify, what exactly do we need in this keep?
I point to Iola's, the staff, right? Points to
okay.
something inside the keep.
Yeah, alright, that makes sense.
Oh,
And-
yeah.
Isn't it the whole
Can
plan
I
we're here?
focus
Yeah,
on
so
the staff?
that question was asked of Aeolus last week. It is gesturing toward as soon as you walked out of the henge, which is against the exterior wall of the keep. It is pointing upwards into the keep, and it is flickering. That this draw, this pull in that direction, it feels intermittent. It is, and in the off flickers, it does not pull in any direction. You do not get the sense of dragging in one direction. Because it's not a physical pull, it's an emotional sort of tether that's drawing your attention.
Right.
Well, as far as we're aware, your rod, as long as we're on the same plane, will point to the other pieces. Perhaps someone is holding on to the other piece and using the same method of transportation that Dunan is talking about. If they're going into this whatever dark ethereal plane, perhaps that's what's causing the intermittence.
See, there's a problem with that theory. The rod can't be shifted to another plane.
Your rod can't, right? Or is that all the rods? All the pieces?
As far as the knowledge that I have, it cannot be shifted to another plane
But
or demiplane unless completed.
sure, but Dunan mentioned that this isn't another plane or a demi-plane. This is a place between planes.
It's not this plane we are right on. Somewhere different.
I mean, I'm up for any and all.
No, yeah, no, I'm
Theories.
just saying that
I-
if we make this move, we have to make sure that the rod is in there, right?
Yes.
Otherwise, this will all be for waste if...
And I will not be able to physically get close to other piece of rod unless I want to be pulled or the rod to be pulled away from me to its partner. So if there is another that holds it, they're also going to have the same trouble as me. Unless they're stronger. There's a very strong possibility that they are tougher than I am.
So you're saying with that if someone is carrying the rod, they would have noticed
The
the
truck.
attraction?
They would have noticed our arrival. Or at least the other piece's arrival.
Well, fuck.
Just a question, Eolas. What exactly do we expect to happen if those two halves get together?
So remember when we were helping out your deep dragon friend, and we
yes.
were facing the mind flare.
Yes.
When the rod pieces get close enough, they have to join. There is no fighting against it.
Yeah,
And
sure.
then whoever
And then what?
possesses the pieces then has control of the rod is my best guess.
We don't know what the rod exactly does, right?
Just that it banishes things from outer planes, supposedly, right?
Well, at the moment it allows me to cure myself and to fly, which is so dope.
So we expected to get more feats like this.
Hopefully. I am very excited to see what the other pieces of the rod will unlock.
So
Well,
it's like a mighty walking stick for you then, right?
Ah, yes, it fits with my terribly old, not old age.
So I think we have a semblance of a plan, but I think there are some things we need to work on.
Yeah.
First, we need to confirm the location of the rod, or at least find out why this flickering is occurring. Number two, we need to figure out exactly what traveling through this ethereal plane of darkness requires of us, if we can even make it a two-way trip. And then, I guess, I was interested in what this book with the tongue on it is.
Yeah, it
I mean,
didn't say
yes, that
anything
also
much.
sounds very interesting.
Why, perhaps we can do some research in the library? In our library?
On
That's
tongue
exactly
books.
what Jaya was thinking.
I like it.
Is there a lot of stuff on books with tongues?
I'm sure it's not the only book with a tongue nailed to it, but I mean, this person was willing to work with a bunch of strangers to rob the local government. I mean, must
I
be
think
valuable,
he
or...
holds a big grudge against the Buccaneers. Because
Sure.
if you mess up with the Buccaneers, they take your arm. And he has only one arm left, so...
Makes sense. Perhaps maybe we should figure out exactly how he messed up with the Buccaneers before we throw in with him.
If he's honest.
True. And I
I
mean,
might be able to
there's
help with that.
yeah, and then I'll say, but people can lose their arms for all sorts of reasons, but It seems like here, most likely, it's the Buccaneers, but who knows?
And there was something else. I forgot. Probably not important.
I like that mindset.
Yes, and the leader from of the Buccaneers is called the Sea Queen, and she's supposed to be the meanest, toughest bitch there is. So
think
I do
Jaya,
not hope she's the one that holds the other half of the rod.
I mean, if Rajaya, you stole that library from the Sea Queen, right?
Yeah, I was a slave for a few months.
And
They kidnapped me.
one can assume that she probably has a whole horde of magical items.
That was my main thing I did on the ship. Just cast Identify over and over and over again.
Do you remember identifying anything that might relate to her investigation? Like the rod? Did that ever come across your desk?
Can I do a history check for that? Now that I've seen what
Certainly.
ALSs look like. 26.
You feel reasonably confident you've never seen something of this manner. You recall most of the things that you've come across in your time, but you are also aware you are not the only individual that would have been in the employ in this manner, so to speak. You have not seen anything and you're quite sure of it, but it does not mean that someone else did not find it and it came across their desk, so to speak.
So we were told about the teleportation issue. In my mind, could that or the wards that they have in place be the cause of what's disrupting this link between the pieces?
I mean, it's possible, but if it's intermittent, that's not the greatest protection, right?
I mean, it may also be a, hey, if you have another piece and you think you can steal from me, then try it. And
Yes.
the person that would try to steal would inevitably be dealt with.
I feel like if the Sea Queen knew that we had the piece, we'd be getting ambushed right about now.
Everybody roll initiative.
Yeah, I was just waiting for like the knock on the door.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, she definitely monitors gate travel, right? That's a big part of their business.
Nah, he didn't really bother. Nobody gave us any mind when we walked through. So, I think it's a common thing here now. But I guess if she keeps the stuff with her, or the other half of the stuff with her, she probably felt the attack like Eolus did. And that probably caught her attention.
I'll ask Jaya, where did the Sea Queen spend most of her time? Did she spend time in the keep, or was she mostly on her boat, or does she have like an office that she works out of to rule this place?
That's a great question. I think in my backstory, I was mostly on the boat, but you correct me if I'm wrong, Spencer.
No, you are correct. And from your recollection, Lady C was still mostly running the high seas at that time. She was still captaining ships. As the group has related, it sounds like she has taken the title of Commodore for herself. So that gives you pause that she might be on ships or here in port. You are not sure. But it's more likely to be in port than otherwise, than if she had still held the title of captain, you imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think we need to figure out exactly who staffs the keep. and the history of it, I think. So, few things to research, I guess.
I mean, it's only one possibility to get into the keep. Maybe there are others. I don't know. We
Yeah.
don't have to take the first. We
Yeah,
can
that
just
exactly.
introduce-
And if there's one person who's willing to risk this much in a grudge against the Sea Queen, I'm sure there are others.
I mean, I would be sad if she met an untimely demise.
Is there, besides magic items, was there anything that the Sea Queen prioritized? Was she
Lady C?
Lady Sea, or
Yeah.
the Sea Queen? Yeah, I keep calling her the Sea Queen, Lady Sea.
Threw me off for a moment.
Was there anything that she prioritized? Did she always go for magic items, or was there any sort of underlying goal in her piracy? Was it more territory? Was it more routes?
Look,
You-
they only left me out of my shackles to be able to identify objects. It wasn't like I was hanging around chatting with them a lot,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
So don't have a ton of information there, other than it was a lot, significant amount, the trade of magical items, and kidnapping and slavery.
Well, I think we have the start of a plan, but we just need more information, I guess.
Yeah, so all in favor for researching in the library to see if we can find out what this book is.
Yeah.
If that is something that we're still
I wish, what is, I mean, I wish we didn't have to break into historical landmarks every time we visit a new city.
I mean we
Da,
don't
da,
have
da,
to
da.
break in. There is another route we could try. Whether it's a smart route, I don't know.
Joining their gang.
No. Just make your way to the keep and challenge for the rod.
Sounds like a terrible idea. I
Yes.
think we
I
should try to
didn't
find-
say it was a good idea.
I think we should try to find the elf and see if he's the one that tried to teleport into the keep.
We could also
Yeah.
do that.
Oh, to the best of your knowledge, he is staying here at the Mariner's Rest, same as you.
I think he's on the same floor as us.
Sure. Yeah. That.
He
Have
might
you?
have more information on how to get in there, or be able to assist us if he still wants something from the keep.
This
Makes
is
sense.
also true. And this is why we don't listen to my plans.
So yeah, why don't we figure out some more about this ethereal plane travel in the library, and then maybe you can go talk to that person to see if his story can be used to help us with that. Alright.
Researching, my favorite activity.
Well, Dunan, why don't you just stand guard, because we're about to use a very powerful magic item that the ruler of this place will basically kill anyone to find.
Guarding, my second favorite activity. Alright. Can I
I
just
mean-
go to drinking?
I mean, I could also stay out here with you and we
No.
can drink.
We need your intelligence. Come on, I start
Ouch.
tracking over.
But I feel better than I have in years. You don't understand.
So yeah, I think I'm just holding Aovis, waiting for Shia to activate the library.
Or for
Yeah.
us to go find the elf.
I think we're gonna do the elf after we get more information, maybe. Or do you want to do that first?
The research takes 8 hours.
Okay.
It's a
Well,
feature of
yeah.
it's a feature of the library.
Yeah.
She
So
if she
let-
succeeds on her check, she gets to cast Legend Lore.
Yep. All right, so let's talk to the elf then. We
Uh.
lose track of them.
Who's ever helming this quest of finding a scarred elf, make me an investigation check, and then a charisma check.
Are we relying on me?
I think it was
see.
your idea.
I have
Yeah.
9 to investigation.
I mean,
So
I have +1 to investigation, so I will
I will-
guidance you.
Yeah,
I
maybe let
can-
Taya do it.
if we want.
Yeah, whichever one, but I'm not gonna be helpful with investigation.
I feel like Shaya's probably the best
Yeah.
option because
Yeah.
she also has a bone to pick with Bergen's
oh yeah.
And she's also more charismatic.
way more charismatic than me. Correct.
In which case, also Jaya, unless you are being yourself, knock off another spell slot for disguise self as you wander about.
Okay.
I did remove one of your 3 scrolls that you had, and I added it as a known spell and assume that you prepared it for the day. Because you're going to
Yeah.
the place where you need it. So I think it's just first level
Yep.
spell. But I'm gonna make that investigation check.
What does guidance do?
Plus
That's
1d4.
a D4.
Okay. Damn it, 14. Ugh. And then a charisma check, you said?
Yes. If you're 13. 14, pardon me. So you can choose either persuasion or deception. You rolled high enough to sort of knock on a few doors and presently find the individual that you were searching for. But he's a bit perturbed at being disturbed in what is generally considered a bit more of an exclusive and private establishment. So how do you go about cajoling him enough to pick his brain? And you can work your disguise self into this if you want.
Fuck, I hadn't thought about this part. Okay, so I don't think Jaya has any idea of how to use like feminine charms to flirt. She's freaking book nerd who has suddenly decided to be a swashbuckler. So I think probably the main thing she would have done was maybe like faked a, and she probably just looks like a very generic human, like her interpretation of a very generic human, which is probably unfortunately like really, really bland and super pale and kind of like mousy brown hair. But she did make sure to put that Devil's Buccaneers removed tattoo scar on her. And
That would be the lack of a hand.
well, did she say they removed the scar? I'm not going to do the lack of a hand because I feel like that's
Okay.
identifiable. But I thought there was also the tattoo denotes members, so if they've been booted out, but they still have the tattoo.
If they're booted out, their hand is cut off above the tattoo.
Okay.
That's
Why
how
did I
the
think it
tattoo
was on
works.
other places? Like, didn't one guy have it on like his neck or something?
Not that you
One of the guys
saw.
on the boat. Like back in. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I think she's probably pretending to be like owls. I don't know, some sort of housekeeping.
Okay.
And then once she identifies who it is with this very prominent scar, like,
I heard a crazy story.
yeah,
Our
exactly.
guy who tried to teleport in.
Okay.
Housekeeping, I fluff pillow, punches him in the face.
Okay.
some, some of the other guests are talking about this, so
Make me a deception check then, because you're
gross.
very clearly trying to lie about something in that case. Ah, pretty good.
16.
All right.
I have a 1 to deception. That's phenomenal.
You are still
Um,
guided. Right?
Mm.
as the gentleman opens the door and just sort of looks you up and down for a moment. I don't think I need turn down service. You can see the scar upon his face from brow down across his cheek almost to his jawbone. Not quite through too close to his nose, but definitely through part of his eye. It seems stiff and doesn't really want to move with the rest of the face as it's healed poorly.
Please, sir. There's some other guests who are referring to something that I think you might be familiar with.
Sort of leans out into the hallway for a moment. Come in, lass. He grabs you by the wrist and goes to pull you into the room.
I'll go.
Okay. Because you are not a malnourished milkmaid who's doing turn down service for a hotel in a pirate's stronghold, your ears are a bit sharper than normal, and you hear the very subtle sound of a blade crossing leather. And as you turn around that he's pulled inside, he's holding a small dagger, about 3 inches long, up towards your throat. But based on your appearance, he doesn't seem to have any inclination that he needs to have it right against you. He's just sort of taking this threatening stance at the moment. What are people
That's not
saying about
necessary.
me?
They're traveling into the keep. They want to know about teleporting in.
Don't. It's a bad idea.
Well, would you be willing to have a conversation with them? Because they're really nice people.
Did they pay you to come here and talk to me?
Technically, no. Just approach a conversation. They have some members of their party who are interested in doing that thing. And so I thought, well, I know where he is, and I will get him to personally talk to them. There's no harm in it. It's just a conversation. And look, you can even look through the towels. There's nothing in here. Which I definitely would have thought ahead and had towels.
Sure. Okay.
It's just a conversation over cottons.
Make me a persuasion check.
I'm just gonna call lucky on this one right now.
Okay, advantage.
18.
Hey. This is real clever. Have you do all the persuasioning.
She trembles just a little bit to show that she's scared. Just to really sell it.
Yeah. Okay.
But I also think that above table, everyone else's charisma sucks.
Oh
It's
yeah.
fair.
Oh yeah. I
I'm
have
in.
a +1. That's it.
What's
Siegfried has a +3 to charisma.
where's the
Oh,
room?
Oh, +5.
follow, you can follow me. I'll take you right there.
Not too quick. He takes a hold of your arm just above the elbow. His hands are much softer than you thought they would have been. For such a grizzled-looking individual. He's got rather delicate hands as you feel the flat of the blade press against your back. You hear him mutter something to himself, but you can't quite make it out. Alright. Slowly now.
Of course, sir. It's kind of bustles. That's the only word I can use in this scenario. Back to the room.
Okay. As he's walking behind you, the blade pressed upon your back. Is their door open? Did you leave it open? Is it closed?
I probably would have closed it behind me just to keep
Okay.
like
This-
so do
this
the
the
knock
door.
knock. Yes. Housekeeping. Knock knock.
Once you stopped walking, he moves this small blade right against the back of your jaw, pointed towards your neck. No funny business.
It's probably not necessary. Okay. Hey. Housekeeping.
Yeah, I'll open the door.
He looks at you, Siegfried. He stands about a head shorter than you. You can see the coiled tension in his neck and his wrist as he's holding this small flat of the blade against this housekeeper's neck. What do you all want with me? Speak now or I kill the girl.
They always just start laughing.
Well, I'm gonna.
Now it's funny.
Uh,
Why don't you step in here? We have a few questions, and
I'll just say, like, this isn't. We're not kidnapping or arresting anyone. As you can see, I'm unarmed. We just wanted to know if you have been in the keep before.
we would like to try to do something real stupid. We heard you tried it once.
He pushes the housekeeper inside and still has the blade against your neck, Shia. And is holding you. Your one side is against the wall as he's holding it in place, and then you can see him shift his leg slightly and shut the door behind him. I tried it. No, why are you trying to be all hidden? I suggest don't let people grab you when a glamour doesn't protect you from that.
We trust that Jaya can take care of herself, and if she needed help, we are right around. But again, we didn't want this to be a violent encounter.
Look, I'll tell you what you want to know. If you pay me.
Alright, that's a good start. What do you require?
Start putting coin out. I'll tell you what good.
How about you tell us what you wanted from in there, and we'll grab it for you?
Surely we have some kind of similar cause. I'm sure our enemies aren't too different from one another.
Start putting coin out. I'll tell you what I was looking for. And if you get it, I'll use some of your coin and buy it back from you. Because I got no promise that if you get it, you're going to give it to me. So if you betray me and I don't get what I was looking for, at least I got some coin out of the deal.
That sounds fair.
Fucking pirates.
You feel a twist from the one hand, the one arm that he's holding you with, Shia. And your arm goes free for a moment as you feel him grab the upper edge of your wing, which he felt through your glamour, and twist it hard to hold you against the wall. Not a pirate. Just a businessman trying to survive.
Mm-hmm. Look, this isn't necessarily just for you, you know? I can't go outside looking like me. All right, so it's not exactly just about you. I'm not trying to trick you specifically. I mean, in this instance, yes, but everybody in general.
That's
Other than
fair.
These individuals.
Totally fine. Good to know.
Thank you.
And to think it was all... I had initially believed it was all for little old me.
Alos will drop 10 silver pieces.
He just gives you a look. He doesn't gesture for you to stop putting coin.
I'll put down more coin once you let go of my friend.
Make a persuasion check. Or intimidation, your choice.
You know what? Let's just go intimidation because they're both 0.
Fine. He shoves her a bit roughly away from himself into your arm, Siegfried. The dagger vanishes from his hand, some sleight of hand. It didn't look like he cast any type of spell or magic or anything, just quick with his fingers.
Could I do an insight check? Is this guy currently glamored as well?
Sure,
He
make an
does
insight
a lot
check.
of-
Make an investigation check.
Okay. No, I can't tell.
It doesn't appear to be so. Looks to be normal, and you would imagine he might do something with that scar, if so. So it does not appear to be so.
Okay.
Alos will drop another 10 silver pieces.
Look, you're staying in this joint. I know you got more than just a handful of silver.
Well, yes, this would just be much easier if you could give us an estimate.
I will flick a gold piece at him.
He's gonna do an insight check and size all of you up. $50 gold. And then, if you get what I want, I use it all to buy it back. Buy the item.
Fair enough. I think we can do 50 gold, Aeolus.
Yep. It is removed from the funds.
You see him carefully count it out, and put it into a pouch, keeping an eye on Siegfried and Aeolus, who seem to be in the front of this group at the moment, just to be safe. Alright, what do you want to know?
Well,
Name's Cyrus, by the way.
nice to meet you, Cyrus. Oh yes, Teng. Our friend Teng here had some questions for you.
What is it, lassie?
We know that there's a ward that prevents teleporting in. We heard your story from a map maker with one hand. Do you know him?
That would be Crispin. Daft fool, but I'm more worried that he's telling people my story.
He did
I'll have to
so
talk
while
to him.
offering to get us in.
He made me the same offer.
Did you take him up on it?
I didn't think I needed it.
So you did try and teleport in.
No. That's where he's wrong.
Can you tell us what you did try?
Tried to teleport out. I got it.
How'd you get
How?
in?
So you can teleport in, you just can't teleport out.
No. I didn't get out. I tried to get out. That's when I got pinched. The only reason I'm not dead is because, well, I didn't get anything. It was nothing. I got it. Got to the vault. Upper stories. A whole wall. It's a massive door. It was open. And empty. Significant protections. None of them were activated. There were glyphs upon the wall, ready to protect it from those who would penetrate its shields, plunder its riches. Not even a copper.
Who apprehended you exactly? Lady C's forces or someone else?
Some of the Buccaneers.
Uh,
They saw fit to give me this. He gestures at his face. As a walking example to those who would think themselves more clever than Lady C and her crews.
but if they have guards there obviously has to be something there, right? They wouldn't just be guarding an empty building.
Or he was set up.
That too.
I wonder
well-
if it has anything to do with Aeolus's staff phasing in.
Yeah,
and
this is
out.
not just not.
Sorry.
That's usually my part. Where I
Yeah.
mess up.
I'm like, not yet. And then
Actually, that makes sense.
I mean, it might, but how well do you trust this Cyrus the map maker?
Don't.
What's his history? He seems awful keen on sending us in there when he knows that.
Or as I know, he's been running that shop forever.
Forever.
So he's probably
He used to have his hand. He sold a bad map to the Buccaneers.
Knowingly?
Seemingly so.
Did he have any sort of grudge against you? He just hired you for this job?
He didn't hire me. He offered to help. I don't want his help. Because his help comes at a price.
Did he tell you what he wanted from India?
The map that he sold lost a ship. It took them into the maelstroms of the Southern Sea. And it was gone. That's why he lost his hand.
How did he know to offer this to you in the first place? If you don't associate with him?
I was asking about construction in Bergen's Hold before the Buccaneers took over. He ran the shop then as well. I was hoping maybe there was a sewer or something. It's like he read my mind and knew exactly what I was going to do.
Think you might have done the same thing to us.
He's wily, despite his age and seeming senility. I don't think he's aged a day in 20 years. Or he's just gotten shorter and wetter.
Have you heard about any other people taking offers from him?
Never.
Never.
At least nobody that's lived to tell about it.
How exactly did you get in? Through the barrier or through the ward or whatever? Or through the guards?
I worked as a kitchen scrubber for about 3 months. And made it in during a particularly large banquet. And there was not a lot of rejection once you're past the main door. But there's nothing to plunder either. So there's no treasure here. Why bother? I think they have it hidden somehow.
It would make
So
sense.
the vault is just a trap to lure.
Oh, mind you, the ward is still good protection. I mean, it caught me trying to get out. I have no doubt it would have got me trying to go in as well. I just didn't see a way out with the chances that I took, and I made a gamble, and it did not. Used to be such a looker.
I asked, I sort of whispered to Aeolus, can you hand me the holy symbol?
He's got, he sort of glances at the review. Now, I'll be happy to buy back the goal of my incursion if you manage to secure it. If not, I'll be happy with the coin that you've paid me.
Can I ask another question, sir?
Yes, lassie.
Why are you still here?
You see the look on his face change. It's not still. It's back.
Why are you back?
I think Lady C has a gemstone. I don't know for certain, but there's someone very dear to me who needs me to find and recover this gemstone. I searched elsewhere for it. Found the ship it was supposed to be on. Learned of the fate of that ship, and it's brought me back. So I arrived the day before last.
This wouldn't be one of the gemstones used to activate the gates, would it?
No, small, ruby. Perfectly smooth. Shaped like an egg.
A ruby egg.
About the size of a robin's.
Is that what you would like for us to keep an eye out for?
Yes. My face is burned. I can't go anywhere near that keep, or I'll be killed.
And do you have any inkling on where the real vault is? Farther down in the keep, or?
I don't know. Lady C. I've heard stories from some of the crew who volunteered for service amongst the Buccaneers when the other option was the crushing depths of the abyss, and maw of the ocean to be turned into food for the bottom feeders. The life of piracy doesn't sound so bad when that's your other option. The powers that Lady C brought to bear were particularly chilling from what I've heard. A real penchant for necromantic and unsavory energies brought forth from nearly anywhere. Not spellcaster like any I've heard of previously.
But she uses necromantic magic.
To an extent, from the sound of it. Obviously, once they're a member of the crew, they're a little bit chagrined to spread too much, but I think Lady C likes the reputation. Some type of weird necromantic blood magic, I suspect. I think she's hidden her real treasures with magic somehow. This unsavory variety.
Well, signs do seem to point to that. I also have a couple more questions, if you don't mind.
Mhm.
I show him, Aeolus hands me the holy symbol of Evilcast and Greklor, and the concentric circles. I hold it up to him. Have you ever seen this symbol before?
Doesn't seem familiar, no.
Nowhere near Lady C, or
Not.
how about two elf siblings with distinctive tattoos?
I mean, I see a number of elves. Could be siblings, might not be.
One, the
But-
two I'm talking about, one is a fighter, a ferocious fighter. The other one is a magical archer.
It's possible. Make a history check for me, Siegfried. This is how well you recall their specific details to
I also
relate
like
more.
my feat that lets me remember stuff. But
Yeah, it's been greater than 30 days since
Yeah.
he last saw them. I'm aware of that. It's been months.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I'm just mostly gonna focus on the tattoos, I guess.
sorry, it doesn't seem to ring a bell. It's possible, but see a lot of people.
Last thing.
Not someone that doesn't sound like anyone I've dealt with directly.
Sure,
but
there
I don't
are,
remember everyone that I pass on the streets.
Are the elves that work with Lady C a part of all one group, or are they just elves from all over the place?
The people who work with Lady C?
Well, you said that you've seen a bunch of elves, just not the elves that I was mentioning.
I see elves here and there,
Okay.
like anybody.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to clarify. I didn't.
Oh.
I wanted to clarify if you mentioned.
No, it's not a specific throng of elves.
No, they're elves around, just like everywhere else. Okay, that makes sense. Also, there's a little discrepancy between what Cyrus told you and he told us. He told
What?
you that he
Crispin?
wanted yeah, sorry, Crispin. The one-handed map
Yeah.
maker. Sorry, I keep calling him Cyrus.
Yeah, this is
Crispin,
Cyrus.
Yeah, this is Cyrus. Crispin, he told you to grab a map for him if he was in the treasure, if you managed to find the treasure. He told us to grab something else.
He didn't tell me. For clarification, he did not say to grab a map.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
You didn't know exactly what he wanted you to do.
No, Cyrus said no because he's not burgling for someone else.
Yeah, makes sense. So, in case you're interested to know, Crispin asked us to find a book with a tongue nailed to it.
Like I said, he's a crazy old man. Never seen anything like it.
So you're after the egg, ruby egg this time. What were you
Don't
after
choose
last
secret.
time?
Same thing.
Hmm.
I wasn't sure if she had it. I suspected. It's now been all but confirmed that it's here. Sort of.
Do you know if she is here or if she's out at sea?
Her ship made berth a 10-day ago. She's probably here for another 10 day. Time of year. She could be here for another month. The spring ships will set out in about 10 days time to be ready to lie in wait for the beginning of spring trade.
I have a very serious question for you. Do you know if everyone at Brigand's Hold agrees with Lady C?
Enough to continue living. Most of the crew will inherently fall in line. A lot of them come from pasts where this is the first somewhat family they've got. They'll protect it, even if to you or I it's a shitty one. A lot choose it just because they like the violence and the freedom. Citizens of Brigandhold will not actively act against Lady C or the Buccaneers in any way. Too many ears and eyes in too many places. But they're not going to be upset with the change of leadership at some point. They're just not going to go about bringing that around into reality.
I see. And how easy would it be to speak with Lady C?
Get captured by her ship.
I mean,
Her flagship is called the Shadow. Don't get captured by it.
I think you should take that advice, Aeolus. Did I get anything off the insight?
She's got a reputation for only taking one survivor. Everyone else goes to the depths. So, 5 of you would have to die.
but if
Jaya
only
gave
one
like
would.
Aeolus a very serious look when you said that to get captured. Like, how do I speak with her? Jaya gave you a very serious look, forgetting that she looks like this like very demure peasant, and like it just doesn't come across at all.
Ringworm riddled milkmaid.
Yeah, it just looks like I like need food instead of giving you a very angry cross look.
Did I get anything off that insight check?
He seems to be telling the truth.
Okay.
You've paid him. You've offered to acquire the thing for which he is searching that he is now almost impossibly able. It is almost impossible for him to acquire.
Yeah.
He seems willing to play ball.
Yep. So yeah, that's good.
If
And
we
he-
were to
Sorry, one sec, Ellis. And he also seems to be intelligent enough to understand that misleading you here could have consequences for his pursuit as well. So he has no incentive to mislead you at this moment.
He wants to keep the flow of information to him as open as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And give you the help that you might need. All right, sorry, Ellis, go ahead.
So, would you reunite with the one who requires the ruby egg? And leave his place?
Eventually, yes. I'm not staying here. And if that goes missing, guess who they're looking for? A man with a scar.
Was there ever a time before Lady C in Brigandhold?
Of course. A few years back.
What was it like then? What was the political structure?
It was fine. A lot of fishermen.
And then Lady C showed up and threw it all out of whack.
Sacked the place. Killed the previous governor, who had residence in the keep. Buccaneers took a large number of the trade ships that were in port to rapidly expand their fleet. Lady C started calling herself Commodore. A little bit after that, a few months maybe.
Is there anyone who is part of the governor's regime left in the city, or have they all been purged?
Dead or fled. I'm sure there's people who would still know them, but if they were involved in the running of Bergensold, they're long gone one way or another.
Well, seeing that you've been so forthright with us, and you seem to have a thirst for the same information we have, maybe we can work together a little bit.
In what way?
Obviously,
Is
we're
that not what we're doing now?
Sure, but this was going to be a one-off thing, correct? I assumed you would take this money and then we'd never see each other again.
Go. I need to see you again because you're getting the ruby for me.
That's a big if. We're still very early.
Just in case you get the ruby for me, I'll need to see you again.
Exactly.
We will get the ruby for you.
Well,
Thank you.
We're outsiders in the city. We don't know who we can trust or can't trust. We've
We
already
still
been.
don't have a safe way to get in there
Yeah, we don't have a safe way to get in, and
or out.
and this Crispin person is already sniffing around our scheme. Is there any? Do you know anyone we could potentially trust as a contact in the city besides you?
Right, not, but I can tell you one person who you think you might be able to, and you shouldn't. Hopefully, you've not run into him.
Okay.
Fellow by the name Dorian Blackwater, human feller. He's retired as a privateer. Was living here before Lady C took over, and readily embraced the change of leadership.
I see.
Rumors circulate that he's financing a faction within the Buccaneers who are trying to overthrow Lady C. This is a false rumor. He himself spreads this to get dissenters to come to him, to then turn into our loving mistress and punish the would-be mutineers. Don't trust Blackwater. And it goes without saying, the crew.
Understood. That's exactly the type of information I was looking for. Thank you. Well,
Try not to seem overly interested in any rumors of uprising within the Buccaneers as well. It's all a web spun by him.
do you know if there are any sort of factions outside of the city currently trying to get a foothold, or do the Buccaneers have the entire city locked down?
Very tight ship, if you ask me. There's another feller who might be of interest. Horace Manderley. He's a lot closer than he would let anyone know to Lady C. And rumor has it that under no circumstances is he ever to be at sea at the same time that she is. Not sure why. Maybe he's got something of hers that she doesn't want to lose, or doesn't want off island. It's my suspicion.
He's a Buccaneer.
I don't think he's tattooed. He might be. He runs the tavern, Kraken's Maw, down on the wharf. He'll act like he doesn't get along with her, and he's only seen her a few times. They're close.
So
Wait, I met this fellow. He's tattooed,
There you have it.
but he said he's retired.
Oh, he's still working for her, trust me. Like I said, I think he's keeping something for her. That
Could that something possibly be your egg?
I doubt it.
or it might have something to do with that magic she's using. Some kind of condition.
I think
Arm or some sort, maybe.
I
Power
think
source.
I'm thirsty. Dunan, would you like to go grab some ale with me?
Somewhat, sorry.
Would you like to grab an ale with me? This
Oh,
Kraken's
always.
Maw sounds like a fun place.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. Lots of fighting, lots of drinking. Very loud. Perfect place.
Very easy way to swindle people into drinking contests.
Oh yeah.
Don't swindle any
But
Buccaneers. Come on.
Don't fuck with the Buccaneers, yeah.
Exactly. He starts off with a drinking.
Not going to fuck with the Buccaneers. I want information. What better way to get information out of a drunk individual?
I'm not worried about the drunk individual. I'm worried about the people listening to you talk to the drunk individual.
Wouldn't ask any
I'm.
obvious questions.
I'll see myself out. Sorry about your wing glass.
One more question,
Usually.
Cyrus. Just one.
Yeah.
Has anybody ever tried to get from outside inside, like with magic, with, I don't know, melting the stone or digging or whatever?
As far as I know, it keeps word against magical impregnation. Teleportation or otherwise. It's a keep. And a damn fine one at that. I would
Thank
be
you, Cyrus.
cautious about attempting anything like that.
The flying in is also not possible.
Imagine above a certain height, and after that, you're just free falling.
Oh.
Is all magic negated inside the keep? Or is
No.
it just... Oh, right, okay.
But, as I said, getting inside seems to be the easier part. There's nothing in the damn vault.
Hey, but just one person.
Because
but we
it's
would be
not
six.
on this plane.
Well, thank you, Cyrus.
Makes sense. Sure.
You know where to find us if you need
I'll
something.
be staying here at the rest. Good luck. I hope you get what you're looking for, this stick of yours.
Thank you.
It's a very important stick. It's the best boy.
He sort of gives the disguised Jaya a little nod of apology, almost. Not quite. And goes back in the hall. And a few moments later, you hear the footsteps and then his door close.
That worked pretty well. You got a whole bunch of information.
Yeah.
See, I have good ideas.
You do.
Mhm.
Maybe we can help him with his face in the future as well. Maybe
So-
it may be useful for us without that scar.
Just to be
I
clear,
think-
we are totally disregarding Crispin's offer.
By
mean,
this point, the sun is set as well.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure we can disregard Crispin's offer, but Crispin, I feel like, is running some kind of game on us.
Yeah, I don't trust him at
He-
all.
He seems to like. I trusted Cyrus because you saw how afraid he was, Shia. He was ready to kill a stranger.
Well, that's not much for this town.
I mean, still, we had to coax it out of him, but versus Crispin was there, sort of laying in wait to just dump this quest on us. I don't trust it.
Nah, not really.
Mm.
I asked
Wait.
proactively and how to get in.
I
So
don't know.
we went into his shop and then I saw that he just misses an arm and I asked him.
However, Cyrus did mention that Crispin might be one of the few people we can talk to that have been here before Lady C.
I'm really
said his
interested
shop
in
has
what
been
that
here
book is
for-
about.
Exactly, yeah, I think we should...
Maybe it's her necromantic tome that she needs.
It's possible. And there's
A
that.
spell
and
book?
There's the whatever manderly person who can't be in the ocean with her. That seems strange as hell. At least we know to avoid this Blackwater fella. But since the sun has gone down, maybe we should do some research before we go to bed.
Mhm.
Didn't Cyrus mention that the necromantic magic was that
Blood
he thought?
magic.
Yeah.
He said it was necromantic, but not any sort of like standard magic that you'd ever seen. Some kind of blood. That's why I wanted to ask about the cult and the elves, because they seem to be using weird sorts of magic that we've never seen before. Like the elves, the druid and the cod. All of them
I
are
need
using,
to talk to her.
yeah. Because the druid and the cod was using both arcane and druidic magic at the same time, and also seemingly using blood magic, which is pretty crazy. The one with the ring of fire or whatever. You remember, Aeolus?
Yeah. Yep.
And honestly, I think we'd be foolish to think that the cult of Evil Kest and Greklork haven't already infiltrated the city.
So the group of you are turning in and doing research in Jaya's library, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Tang thinks that she'd prefer to hang out and make sure that we aren't all in the library.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
I think Dunan was gonna step out too. So, but if you want to stay with them, that's fine too.
Dunan and I can stand guard.
Cool.
Sure.
Okay.
So we're not going drinking, Heliwrast?
Done
I think
as you are reminded, the door to the Mariner's Rest locks at sundown.
Ah, yes.
So you can drink downstairs in the Mariner's Rest, but if you leave, you are not given re-entry until sunrise.
Right.
It's to
Well-
keep out the riffraff.
Either way, we're drinking. I don't care where.
All right, easily done. So Dunan and Tang keeping guard / drinking outside of the library, which I presume you're setting up inside of one of the rooms that you've provisioned as well.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Oh no, because it wouldn't work.
Who else on the
Well,
first hour?
I don't think Aeolus would know that. Can I set an alarm around the room?
The room itself, certainly.
Yeah. And then it'll
If you are inside the library, you will not receive the alarm, but you can make it audible so your guards outside of your library can hear it.
Yeah, that seems like a good idea.
yeah.
Okay. Just in case. Okay. What topic are you researching and who is aiding? We'll say Heliwrast is helping as well.
I think
I'll help.
being our primary researcher, what do you think is our most important goal right now?
Well, I was gonna say, do you want to do like the plane, like study about the planes?
Yeah. Like, why don't we confirm to see if Crispin is telling us the correct thing?
The negative
Yeah.
ethereal.
Yeah, the negative ethereal.
Yeah.
Okay. So with Siegfried, Aeolus, and Heliwrast helping, you have a +3 to your Arcana check. This check is made over the course of the 8 hours, so any spells and magical effects must have duration of at least 8 hours to aid you in this. Go ahead and make the check for me.
Can I
So go ahead.
use Lucky to give me advantage?
You may.
I'm also going to guide it.
24.
Guidance does not work. It does not have duration greater than 8 hours.
That makes sense. You've explained that before.
Yep. 24 is sufficient, though. All right. Let me pull up negative ethereal. The negative ethereal is not an alternate plane of existence. It is a dark mirror of the material plane through which ethereal creatures move and teleportation happens. The dangers of the negative ethereal extend beyond just creatures that call this realm their home. The essence of the space itself saps the vitality from non-native creatures, leaving them with lingering and often permanent ailments. Following effects are the mechanical side of existing in the negative ethereal, which you learn. For every 10 minutes you spend in this space, a non-native creature's maximum hit points are reduced by 1, unless they succeed on a DC 15 saving throw using their worst saving throw bonus. The reduction is permanent and can only be restored by means of power, word, heal, or wish spells, or magic of similar strength. While in the negative ethereal, any and all teleportation is impossible, because you are in the space that you would normally teleport through. Necrotic energy is particularly effective in the negative ethereal. Whenever a creature rolls necrotic damage, you increase the dice size by 1. D4 becomes a D6, D6 a D8, D8 a D12, D10 and D10 a D12, and a D12 becomes 2D6. So if it, for example, Finger of Death, which would normally deal 7d10, would deal 7d10 instead of 7d8. The secondary damage of Toll the Dead, cast by a 9th level character, would deal 4d6 instead of 2d12. There are also danger zones within the negative ethereal, where the effects of the plane are significantly more concentrated. You need to avoid these, ideally. It's 2 hit points per 10 minutes spent on the save, and the save is made at disadvantage. And the necrotic damage dice are maximized instead of increased in size. It is a hazardous, dangerous space for non-native creatures.
This traversing through that seems just as dangerous as breaking into this place.
Mhm.
Not
I
there.
can, I can
You-
understand.
With 24, you also learn that there has been some small success in binding protective energies to, typically it's chosen pieces of jewelry, pendants, amulets, rings, earrings, that stave off the dangerous effects of the negative ethereal. But these are rare and few and far between. It is difficult to acquire them, and difficult to source them in the first place because few people need such a specific item.
I turned to
Uh,
Aeolus.
oh,
You know who I think might know of us the existence of such an item?
Yeah,
Madame Toadtooth.
quite possible. And I must say, this traveling through sounds like so much fun.
Would learn a lot.
mhm.
The research that could come from it, the creatures, the I have to go through.
Based on this too, I think maybe remember when Teng sanctified the Hollow
Yeah,
when those creatures showed up?
yeah. I think a trip through, whether it's through this or we find another means.
Also, you think the creatures that attacked Alderthorn are natives of this plane? Normal magic didn't work on them. Right?
If wait a minute. That makes all the fucking sense though, doesn't it?
Mhm.
Because where these creatures are, we felt the absence of magic.
Pretty much, right?
And since it's not an extra plane, I can travel through it with the rod. But would the rod make us a like a swarm point, would we be drawing them to us as we travel through?
Depends, I guess. The moment we step in there, we are intrinsically alien to that environment. Who knows what can sense that?
Is it a bad idea that if we do travel through it, I don't think everyone should go?
Sure. I mean, logically, I see where you're coming from, but
I mean, I want all of us to go if this is the route we take. But, Haya,
Not you, Siegfried.
oh, sorry. You sent me the message.
Oh, did I? It said
Yeah,
to
I
Tang.
It said from DM Spencer GM and
Oh.
then it's in full history.
Oh, you have access to Tang's sheet because you covered it for her at one
Oh,
point.
okay, all right.
That's
that
what it
makes
is.
sense.
Oh, okay.
I thought you were trying to do it. Yeah, I thought you were whispering something to me. Never mind.
Nope. Yeah.
Oh,
Haya,
nice. Exactly the
do
same.
you think
Go ahead, Ayla.
It's definitely worth a traverse. Yeah,
Can
we
only
lived on a lot.
Tang see that message that I just whispered to her?
I can
Yep,
see it.
only 10 can see. I don't see anything.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Continue.
I think we should look into this potential warding we can do. I think Teng would be interested in that as well. Teng seems to have a lot of knowledge on warding magics or charging things with positive energy for protection. So I think that's on the list. Finding out more about this Crispin, why he knows about the energy plane and can access it. That's a big question because that might provide us information on what happened in Elderthorn. And then 3, look to see if there's any other option of getting in there besides going through the negative plane. Just in case, because as far as Crispin has told us, he's only going to help us get in.
He's also going to help you get out,
Okay, cool.
but you have to come back to the mirror of where he is.
Yeah, okay.
He can't get you out wherever.
Yeah, and then, so if he can, since he can get us in and out, we have to determine exactly how long we need to stay in the plane.
Yeah, he would effectively open a door for you, say good luck, and then wait to open the door for you again in the same exact spot.
So we need to figure out exactly how much time it'll take us to traverse that plane and get back, because if it's more than 10 minutes, it's going to start fucking us up.
So what I'm hearing is we need to set up a time where we each, or in pairs, make our way, in theory, from Crispin's to the hold and see how long it takes us.
Did it keep?
Yeah.
Sure, but that's also assuming that traversing the ethereal, the dark ethereal, is the same as traversing in our plane, you know? The geography could be different.
Well, if it's right, but if it's a
mirror, I guess that makes sense.
mirror, we have a rough estimate because we're only as quick as our slowest person.
Sure. Yep, I think that might do it then, but again.
And it would be fantastic to have for Tang, if for some reason she can't fly.
Yep. Also, like, I guess, yeah, I think.
But and Aeolus looks to Kaya and Siegfried. All of my abilities are necrotic in nature.
That's good. I mean, hopefully.
No. When I cut myself, it's necrotic. I hurt myself to do everything. So, we step into these zones. I'm taking much more damage to myself to be useful.
And also losing your max HP.
Which comes to my question to Jaya. How comfortable are you telling me everything you know about ADC?
Oh, I'll tell you anything you want to know.
You're really not going to turn yourself in, are you?
I just want to have a conversation with her.
I want her
If
shoe
there's a-
size. I want her social security number.
I don't think this conversation is going to be a conversation, Aeolus. I think it's going to be more like torture.
No.
no.
From what I
If
heard,
sh-
she's not very pleasant to be around, so just going up, talking to her,
And you're at
kind
the
of bad
bar.
idea.
I can hear his voice. It's
Just
I don't want to speak to her about anything else besides if she does use blood magic.
I mean, that's a pretty personal question, Aeolus. You can't,
There's
you
not
can't, you can't just
You
go
can
asking people
ask
to use
someone
blood
what magic they use.
Exactly.
no, but
yeah, it's
I
Can you just do that?
no, but I can show her what I can do and ask if she's seen anyone else that can do it.
Yeah, just a quick, why don't
So-
we try to use a ruse? Or, I don't know. Just, I mean, look at Shia. I know you might be uncomfortable with that, but just bringing or pretending to bring Shia in, but we want to speak to
No,
the Sea Queen.
I don't want to bring Jai anywhere close. If anything, if the group of us were to take this negative ethereal, I think all of you should go. And
Jai,
the
what were you
one
gonna say?
Who will
I understand, Aeolus, that you're willing to take this risk, and this might be a good way to get information, but you're an all.
You're
liar,
probably not
you're an
getting
all
out of there alive.
persuader. How are you gonna sweet talk a pirate queen by just cutting yourself in front of her?
You may be into that. I don't know.
Jai, what were you gonna say?
Honestly, I don't remember anymore.
No.
I think directly interacting with C should be an absolute last ditch effort. Especially you, Aeolus, where she can potentially find out that you're an agent of Elderthorn.
And take the staff from you.
You're the only one who can use that staff.
Speaking of, we have a flashback to do at some point for Siegfried. But
Yeah.
that's not important at the moment.
And I understand, Aeolus, like, doing a ruse like that, we've done crazier shit before, but right now, you're a very valuable person to our party. You're the only one who could use the rod to determine where the other piece is. And again, if an avowed of Blackburn Watch gets captured by the Buccaneers, what does that mean politically for Elderthorn? You think you can hide that from interrogation?
Yes, I do.
You're literally branded.
I saw the brand right in front of. Aeolus, there are other means of getting information than simply torture. She's a necromancer. She could just kill you and bring you back.
All I wanted was just a peaceful conversation.
I don't think.
Doesn't exist.
But she has no reason to be peaceful, right? As the moment she finds out that you're alone, have something that she needs, she's just gonna take you away and do with you what she will.
The group of you heard what Cyrus stated. That there were members of her crew that just followed. That's what the cult does. If she's another agent of the cult, shouldn't we find out?
Yes, but not by sacrificing you.
It wouldn't be sacrifice, though.
How would we get you out? How would you come back from this? And then if you're gone, we can't track the rod in the ethereal darkness.
I wouldn't have the rod on me.
I mean, but that's the problem. We're gonna need you in the ethereal darkness to see if the rod is in there. We can't use the rod to track the other part.
No,
You're
you
the
can.
compass.
If you get too close to the rod, you'll find out. But it was just a suggestion. If that's what we don't want to do, then we all travel as one. And that's if we take the negative ethereal.
No, I think splitting up might be an option, but I just don't think we should attract attention of Lady C at all if we can. Especially she has geopolitical power, Aeolus. She can destroy the trade routes to Elderthorn if she wanted to. It's not just our mission at stake if we make an enemy of her. She's a leader of a nation.
The group of you do complete a long rest over the course of these conversations in the evening and the morning. I'll assume at this point, some point during the morning, Tang and Dunan get filled in on everything also.
I would definitely fill in Tang too on it, exactly all the stuff about the dark ethereal. Assume me, her, and Jaya would have some sort of conversation about that.
I'm curious about these items that can provide protection. I wonder if that's what that ring was that Lady C wanted.
She wanted a ring?
Oh, yeah, sorry. We went to an herbalist's earlier, without you guys. And the herbalist had a very strange, really interesting ring on that was not really her style. And when we went back to the herbalist shop, it was gone. Turns out it was something that was ordered specifically for Lady C. And I think that based on the descriptions of items that have been enchanted to help with protection in that realm before, that ring may be one of them.
Perhaps we should speak to that herbalist then.
She was just a not a fence, but she received it. She knew it was late for Lady C. Her man picked it up and took it to Lady C.
Okay.
She didn't really know much more beyond that. But you know who might know a little bit more about them?
Sure.
Do you remember that pendant that we saw the bartender wearing?
At this place?
Yes.
That's
Yes. The
that's a
correct one.
similar make, I think, or similar feel.
He hit it at some point during talking with him.
I
It
wonder if
was
that
out of place for his gruff exterior.
I think maybe Dunan can loosen his lips a little bit. You're good at talking to bartenders.
Well, right, but I don't know how to go about it. So just usually I'm more direct, but that probably won't work.
I mean,
And he's a buccaneer, so a wrong word and it gets back to the Quincy.
true.
And from what I heard from Cyrus, he's more like a right-hand man to her. But
So which bartender are we talking about? The bartender to this inn?
The
Kraken's Maw.
No.
Oh, the
Kraken's Maw.
Manderly guy. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Horace Manderly.
But there are.
There's not
more.
a fixed bartender at the Mariner's Rest.
Yeah.
It's open for 3 hours just after dusk, and that's it.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Do you think we could steal it from?
It's possible. If he keeps it on him, it's not in a weird warded vault where you can teleport in and out. But the problem is it's on him. If it's that
Probably not
valuable, I
take it
imagine
off.
imagine he keeps it on him all the time. And
I don't think anybody of us is dexterous enough to just take it from him without him noticing.
But she's
maybe
currently
there are
wanted
others.
If
Right.
she's wanted by the Buccaneers, if she gets caught stealing from a Buccaneer, it might make things worse. But
Mm-hmm.
Jaya is our stealthiest person.
All of you can make an intelligence check. Wow, very good. You guys know a thief.
Of course we do. A thief and a frog, right?
No. A thief with particularly soft hands.
Oh, but he has that scar on his face.
He won't if he has a glamour over him.
But as you saw, people can see through glamours. This would, but maybe we can potentially change his appearance more substantially. I don't know, but it would pay to ask him, I think.
Mm-hmm.
He's a better thief than all of us. You saw how he moved that knife. Okay. I think we have some next steps. We're gonna talk to Cyrus, and then we're gonna make our way down to Manderley so Aeolus and Dunan can size him up. Or we figure out where the herbalist got the ring from.
We already tried asking about that.
Okay.
It came a long way to come to her. She said she'd keep an eye out if she saw any others that were similar. She didn't seem like a suspicious person.
Yep, just okay.
Quite chatty, actually.
Alright, I'll go try and track down Cyrus before we leave.
Easy enough. He's currently enjoying a small breakfast.
Cyrus, when you're done with your breakfast, could I speak with you privately?
What is it?
Well, we
He just
may
puts his
potentially
bowl
have-
down, stands up.
Yeah. We may potentially have a job for you, someone of your specific skill set.
You explain the details. I'm assuming in
Yep,
private. Okay.
Yeah, when we get back to the room, I'll explain the details.
You could make me not look like me.
Yes, I mean, we have magical abilities, but we could also physically disguise you, correct?
Okay. When do you need this thing by? This evening?
I mean, what's safest for you?
I mean, once I get it. If I get it early in the evening after he goes to sleep, in theory you have the night until he wakes up and notices it's gone. I might be able to even put it back if I'm quick, if you're quick enough.
That? What do you think, guys? Do you think that's enough time for us to get ready for this?
I think so.
Okay. So this means that we are going to go to Crispin and agree to his plan. Okay. All right then, Cyrus. How much money do you need for this?
Give me 10 gold. And I'll probably try to make my new move almost just before midnight.
Okay.
I need the gold to get people drinking. If they get rowdy enough, he closes the tavern early and goes to bed. At least he used to. So if I can get everyone drinking a lot, fighting a lot, it might buy a
will
better
hand
window.
you 15 gold as I hand Siegfried back his songbook.
didn't know you had that. Thank you.
And Siegfried pats
would-
his
you-
back, pats the pouch that it was in previously,
Yeah.
and is now suddenly not in.
I ask Cyrus, would you want us there to try and help with that distraction?
No, I can manage that.
Okay. And you
Me-
said your disguise, Jaya, your magic doesn't work that long, correct? Your disguise self spell.
It's an hour. Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, I can make do well enough. I might just want to disguise when I'm getting out of town, in that case. If that's okay.
Yes. You're the one who's going to be most at risk with this, but
If I don't see you an hour before sunrise, I'm gonna leave by the henge. I'll meet you in Urcrypt.
okay.
Bear in mind that also means I'm not putting a pendant back. I wouldn't want to chance it any later than that.
Oh no, that's fine. When you get to Urcrypt, mention us.
Yes. Go to Yerl and tell them the bloody mad dogs have asked him to give you a room,
Okay.
and we'll pay the tab.
I will see about trying to get this thing. If I'm successful, it'll be on your windowsill by midnight.
Okay.
He takes the coin from you, Aeolus, and heads off.
Right. Next, I think we should go talk to Crispin and tell him where we've agreed to his deal.
And tell him that we'll meet him shortly after midnight.
Yes. And then I assume we need to get some rest because it's going to be a long night.
Okay. Do you guys want to roleplay through Crispin, or no?
I think we can.
Just
You don't
unless there's
have
more
to.
information.
okay.
Yeah.
You stop by. He informs you once again of the cost of his exchange, this book. You will start in the basement of his shop. He will send you across, and you'll need to get back to the same location before he can bring you all back.
Yep.
And I ask him if he knows if it's a 1-to-1 here.
It is not.
It is not. Okay.
Things that exist in the material do not exist there, and things that exist there do not exist in the material.
Okay.
It is a dark reflection of what could have been or what was.
Okay.
Okay, so knowing how far it is in our plane doesn't necessarily mean it'll have any relation to how far it is in that the.
Very roughly close, Matt.
Okay.
But it's not like if you appear in a basement, there's a copy of that exact building type of thing.
Right.
It could be
Right.
fallen into ruin, or it could be not there at all, type of thing. But the world itself
I
is roughly the
understand,
same size.
And then I ask him, how long roughly do you think the passage will take?
Not to
Far
put you
ahead.
in, not more than 10 minutes. Get you out, probably less.
Okay.
So, wrong voice.
I would like to insight him on that.
Insight. Go ahead.
Yeah.
And before we head back, there's something I want to do.
Seems guarded, but he seems like he's being honest about his timetable.
Okay.
You have no idea how he's going to know that you're on the other side, but he seems confident in his abilities.
Well, I'm not gonna try and pry too much. I'll just say, well, Crispin, we'll see you after midnight then.
All right. See you then.
What, Aeolus, you were gonna say something?
Yeah, from where the shop is, Aeolus just wants to get a general eye line of where the keep is.
Easy
So,
enough. So the shop is on the wharf, just barely set in off the docks, in the way that normal traffic isn't directly in front of it when people are loading or unloading ships. It's about a 10-minute walk. A little bit more than that with the crowd, like with the number of people that you have to sort of wait for carts to pass every now and then. But in theory, less of a walk if there's no things in your way. So it's about, give or take, 10 minutes to get to the entrance of the keep.
Okay.
And you can't get into the keep beyond that. It's guarded.
Okie doke.
If we don't get attacked, everything goes to plan. It should be okay, but I highly doubt that's gonna happen.
Oh, Aeolus, I made this for you. I'm gonna pass him my potion of superior healing.
Thanks.
Happy birthday, AOS.
I mean, your mimic
Nothing
helped make
instills
it.
more confidence in me.
You're just too important to lose.
I've heard that.
The group of you sounds like are doing like a lazy resting up until dusk, presumably.
Yep.
Okay. Let's take a brief mid-session break, about 5 minutes. And then we're going to come back, do Siegfried's flashback to whether or not he is confirmed as a member of Blackburn. And then we will jump into your evening where you check your windowsill and then go meet Owlman Crispin.
Sure. Thank you.
Alrighty. Then get back into it. As evening falls, and you all rouse yourselves from your half-sleep stupors that you've been lazily passing the day in, so as to not exhaust yourselves. You stop, have an evening meal here at the Mariner's Rest. Mark off another 20 gold, I believe, for the stay. For 2 rooms for the day.
Right.
It is a very expensive place by comparison.
This is
Cheap.
also a very safe place.
Exactly. The trade-off. Because you needed to pay that by noon. I'm assuming that you did. The group of you have a small evening meal. Retire back to the girls' room, the corner one that overlooks a lot of the wharf and the small bay that belongs to Broken's Hold below, and is a little bit easy to identify as a corner unit for your would-be thief. Hours pass. The moon is rising, about half full. You hear a slate tap at the window.
Before we go further, you said you wanted to do a flashback, or are we just that's
yeah.
later?
So let's take care of that. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, everyone's getting the window. So this would have been the day before you left. Elder Thorn. Storm Surge calls you and Aeolus into his offices. Seated there is Nath and a member of the Council of Elders, Dragonborn woman who you've seen around town here and there. You are familiar with her. Her name is goes by the name of Mother Ichthek. Storm Surge has a serious look upon his face. Siegfried! Aeolus! We've got news. The council has come to a decision based on your less than traditional trial. They've decided that you were not responsible for making those monsters in the space to lend credence to your case. In light of that, he looks at Mother Ichthek. We've agreed to allow you to join the Avowed. I'm here to supervise, as this is Nath's first time applying the ceremonial tattoo. Please remove your tunic.
Sure. Yeah, Siegfried does.
You can feel her eyes upon you as you lift your tunic. She clearly enjoys this part of the job. Oh, yes. Okay. Well muscled. You've chosen well. As a individual gifted in magical abilities, Siegfried, you will be remanded as an Avowed under Nath. And your advancement, as you succeed in this role over your life, will be with him.
Understood. So Aeolus will no longer be my commanding officer. Is that correct?
I'm not
Contrary.
responsible for you anymore.
She looks over at Captain Storm Surge. Well, not entirely. A bit, I would imagine. Don't worry. It'll be fine.
Understood.
Um,
I'm glad to work with you more directly now.
oh, he's still gonna outrank you.
Wait, what?
You're being promoted, Aeolus.
Siegfried starts laughing.
Huh, wait.
I can't
Gotcha.
I can't justify you and someone of the same rank gallivanting about, but you've been doing some good with your extracurricular team. So, we've seen fit to have you fill our open lieutenant position.
While I am...
I will not increase the size of your house.
Oh. Not even like upwards. We were talking about giving 10 like a nice place to roost.
Nath pushes you down Siegfried and starts tattooing you. There's a layer of magic that's being woven into it as it goes. Storm Surge continues with you, Aeolus. No! You have more responsibilities now, and a little bit more carte blanche, rather than you gallivanting around as an avowed. See to it that you don't embarrass us.
Of course. What other responsibilities do I now have that I need to be made aware of? So I don't...
When we have a new batch of recruits, we'll need you to help train them up, if necessary. Probably in your field style. That has come to be rather effective. Other than that, we're good for now. And you'll have credence on whom amongst recruits you train in the future should be considered for the taking of the oaths.
Oh, that sounds fantastic. So wait, so you just told me that with new recruits, if needed, I can tell, or I can train them up in untraditional manners? And
Well,
Aeolus just looks...
We're using you as our lieutenant for the untraditional manners.
I can't
Seems
wait
to be effective
tell
enough.
Our favorite dwarf. He gets to hit recruits?
I mean, he is not part of the leadership chain of command. He would be equal to a recruit.
Oh no, right, but for the purposes of...
You can tell him is equal to the 17-year-old that joins up in a 10-day or so. I'm sure he'll love that.
I would love nothing more than to say those words to him.
Siegfried, as Nath is tattooing you, he, at one point, as you repeat the oaths of service for Blackburn, takes the better part of about 6 hours to place the tattoo upon your ribcage on the side. It is the same mark of service that is present for all avowed members, ranked all the way up through the captains. A icon of an evergreen tree, wreathed in one side by a flowing river, and on the other by a rocky edifice. Welcome to Blackburn, son.
Thank you, Captain. I hope I don't embarrass you.
Nath comes over. You've not so far. Do us proud. You hear the creak of 100-year-old bones as Mother Ickthik stands and nods to the two captains, comes over to you, sort of reaches a hand up, barely reaching your chin, and sort of gives you a little pat on the cheek from her bent stature. You'll be a good one, I think. Bye, boys. Play nice. And hobbles out at an incredibly snail-like pace, taking a good 1 minute to reach the door.
Just to clarify, the vacant loop. So, is Arvir still around? Is he dead? Is that why the lieutenant position's vacant?
Arvir's still around. There's other lieutenants.
No, that's what I was asking. I was like, as far as I'm aware, Arvir's still alive.
Yes, Arvir is still
Okay,
alive. Yeah.
I would have been very sad if Arvir died.
Yeah.
So I was like,
If Arvir just was off screen,
Yeah.
we didn't know about it until 4 months
Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
I'd be heartbroken. Be like,
Just
"What?
dead. Yep.
He just passed away. Don't know what
I didn't
happened."
sleep. We don't know what happened. Just...
Yeah. Blackburn watches 4 tiers of advancement along with the 2 distinct tracks of advancement. One for the martial and mind and one for magical. The civil service level members, so the recruits, are known as recruits. And whether they are the beginning or the end of the tier of service, they are the same rank. And it is the only role which which is universal for all members. Additionally, the only role... pardon me. It's jumped to the wrong section. There we go. Some recruits might be capable of spellcasting, but the focus is upon their 2 years of service is learning the martial prowess and the utilization of working as a team. At this point, those who have shown an aptitude for spellcraft and receive the Blackburn tattoo are recruited to train in that manner and rely on their martial prowess if they need be. Spellcasters at the lowest rank of Avowed are known as acolytes, so this is your rank. The next promotion is merit and competency based to the rank of advisor, which would be the equivalent of lieutenant. There are never more than 4 advisors at any point, and they serve upon the council of 8 to the benefit of the watch. These advisors take the role of training acolytes in arcane and divine spellcasting. And finally, there is a single seat that bears the title Arcanist. This is Nath's title. He is elected from among the advisors by an internal selection when the previous Arcanist retires or passes away. The martial side follows the same progression. The recruits advance to become judiciaries. From there, they advance to lieutenant and again to captain. There are 4 lieutenants. So that make up the 8 seats of that lieutenant rank. It is 4 lieutenants and 4 advisors. So
And Badiana was the former Arcanist, correct?
Former Arcanist, correct. So Aeolus is now the newest lieutenant that shares a rank with Lurikini and Arvir.
Okay.
All right. Jumping back to present day, there's a knock at the window.
We'll walk over to the window.
You crack it and very carefully open it slowly, not as to not knock anything off as you open it wide. In a small pouch of leather, the chain spilling out of it, you see a pendant. And what's your passive perception?
My passive is 26.
26. Okay. You see the shadow of an individual disappearing down the drain pipe and around a corner.
I will slowly close the window and will take the object out of the the word escapes me, out of the pouch.
In your hands is a beautiful pendant of polished metal. It looks to be a locket of some kind, vaguely in shape, but there doesn't appear to be any type of clasp upon it, nor do you see any means of opening it. There is not a blemish of dirt or speck of grime upon it.
I would like to cast Identify.
As an action or as a ritual?
As an action.
Okay. This is a magical amulet. It will ward whomsoever wears it from the effects of the negative ethereal. It does not require attunement.
I think you should take it, Aeolus. You're at the most risk of this necrotic damage feature.
Well, that is if I use my blood rights.
Are you really planning on not using your blood rights? Alright, I mean, if so, then Teng should have it.
I agree with that. I'll try to not use my chemocraft while we're in there. That's all.
I'll do my best to keep you alive.
Alright, so now the media
You
problem
always
is
have.
that... Oh, sorry, I interrupted.
Okay.
No, I think the downstairs is very much locked right now, so we have to get out of here and start moving.
You can leave through the door. You're just not permitted to re-enter.
Oh, okay, alright.
Yeah.
I misunderstood that. Okay,
Yeah.
never mind.
The door is locked to anyone outside.
Okay.
And you're advised as such if you step through the front door that you will not be allowed to re-enter until daybreak.
Okay. Well, that problem solved. I think we can just head to Crispin now.
Easily enough.
Who is it?
As you knock at the door.
Man.
It's us.
Ah,
It's time.
come in. Come in. Come in. Come in.
He gestures with his stump.
Here. Lock the door behind you. Follow me.
He leads you through the twisting and winding stacks of old maps and sea charts and log books and sextants and spy glasses that litter his place and would give any hoarder the shame of having a place more organized than he. To a trap door set back deep behind his desk and around a corner.
Lifts it down here. It's the only place I can set something up.
Well, he goes down the rickety ladder. It's at about a 60-degree step, almost like the stairs down below deck of a ship. And as imagine, he probably salvaged this from a ship at one point. As he leads you into a basement cut into the stone and dirt. The walls are unfinished. About 30 feet square. The center of which has a series of crystals that have been set up, each about the size of his palm, roughly cut, and just dotted in the soft earth of this floor. That's sort of been dug up a little bit to just nestle them ever so. Yes, Aeolus, that is what it does, specifically.
Okay.
Yeah. And Teng is wearing it, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Alright. It's been a while since I've done this, so. You got the 6 of you? Okay. I'll be down here all night. And part of the morning. Be careful. I'll know when you're back, okay? I'll have the portal ready for you. I don't know what form it takes. Sometimes I've heard it's a pool. Sometimes a doorway. When I rip into the space makes something to justify that expenditure. So when you get there, I mean, should look something like this basement, I think. But glance around. See if something seems like a portal of some sort. A window, a door, a pool of water, a hole in the ground that seems out of place, a little bit too perfect. Something's going to be out of place. And that'll be your way home. I'll have it ready for you by the time you get to it. I'll feel you coming. All right. Here we go. He rubs his hand against his stump and starts chanting. What languages does everyone speak? You do not recognize the languages, Aeolus. The language he's speaking, Aeolus. Nor
I
do you,
speak
Tang.
Common Dwarvish Giant.
Nor do you. Nor do you.
Infernal.
You only speak Infernal?
Well, and Dwarvish and Orc, but that was...
You do not either. Okay. I don't think anyone recognizes the language he speaks as he starts this chanting. And the small bit of candlelight.
Before he starts chanting, I would like to cast, using Subtle Spell, Comprehend Languages.
Certainly. Does comprehend languages identify the language?
Yeah, so I was pinging this. So you understand? You understand
Oh,
the
so you
literal meaning?
understand it.
I just understand it. That's it. I don't think I know what language it is.
Okay.
Am I able to cast augury right now?
Certainly. What's the casting time on augury? 10 minutes?
1 minute.
1 minute? Absolutely. The spell that he is reciting will take 10 minutes. So. Casting the spell with comprehend languages while she's doing augury. Siegfried, mark off your use for subtle.
Yep.
These are the spell that he is chanting is a strange, twisted perversion of plane shift. It is very different from what you expect, and there are notable changes in the words, in some of the words that drastically alter the meaning of each string of the spell as he's weaving this in the space. And the candlelight that is flickering in the space almost feels like it's stolen away as he's progressing in this spell, and the crystals that have been dotted around the space take on the glow of the candlelight as it is sort of transferred into them before the candles each wink out. Augury, what are you doing with the augury spell?
I receive an omen from an otherworldly entity about the results of a course of action that I plan to take, i.e. going into the realm within the next 30 minutes.
Certainly.
So you get to choose the omen from the omens table.
Okay. Go ahead and put the spell there, please.
Mm-hmm.
Give me one moment. Okay. Let me pull up my omens table. Oh, thank you. As you cast the spell, Teng, what does it look like? What means do you use to cast it?
I pull a small set of bones and some of the dried herbs that I've collected over the course of the last long while. I create a mat on the ground in the herbs and then throw the bones. I'm muttering under my breath.
Gotcha. As you read the bones, and this chanting is still going on nearby you, and the flickering light continues to shift from the candles into the crystals, and the whole area takes on this oppressive darkness, squeezing in from the corners of this space until you feel like you are nestled into a small speck of light in a dark void as his spell continues to weave around the group of you. You glance at your bones and you see quite prominently the bone that you have marked with the glyph of death is canted on top of the bone of luck. You interpret this as both weal and woe. Good and bad.
Okay.
You also interpret this as great danger is ahead of you, depending on how you proceed. Before long, the spell culminates, and the final words, almost a whisper, as it feels like this space itself has stolen the breath out of Old Man Crispin's very mouth, and you all feel a sense of vertigo twisting around you, and your visions all go dark.
Hey, Spencer.
Yes.
Right before the spell takes hold, can I activate my Crimson Rights?
Certainly.
Alright.
Upon which weapons?
I'm gonna have Vergasive in hand always as we're walking through here.
Noted.
Vergasive will get lightning, and Star Metal will get cold.
Okay.
And I'll just break the both of them across the back of my hack right before, or yeah, as close to teleportation as I can.
Certainly. As your vision goes black, and you shake your head for a moment, as if you're trying to allow your eyes to readjust, you find yourselves in the bottom of a small crater. Behind you, a shimmering door, casting light out upon the space in which you find yourselves. The environment is very different, but you can see the telltale similarities, of where one part of reality was and how this overlaps with it.
When I come through the portal, I'm gonna immediately cast Pass Without a Trace.
Okay. Easily enough done.
I am going to hold the rod out in front of me and focus on it.
You feel it pulling you in the direction of the keep, off to the right of the map. As you glance up and see, what's that aura that just popped up?
That's the pass without a trace radius.
Okay, I don't need the radius up on the map.
Okay.
Yeah.
No problem. I'll take it off.
Yeah, I got it. You all hear voices, not making words. There is grunting, groaning, moaning, and the sound of footfalls coming from the upper lip of this crater in which you find yourselves. Something's up there.
Can I look for the passage back?
Taking a quick glance around, you suspect it's the glowing doorway behind you.
Can
Okay,
I
so
cast
that didn't
spell
disappear.
No.
Before we get moving?
Pardon, Dunan?
Can I get a spell off before we start moving?
Yeah.
I'll cast 8 at 3rd level on Aeolus, Tang, and Siegfried.
Okay.
So you get an extra 10 hit points.
So, thank you.
And that increases your maximum.
Yep.
Mind you, at the end of the spell, if you've lost anything to the negative ethereal, that will still be present. But also, I'd like everyone to take note in their character sheets, in their flaws section on the right-hand side of your maximum hit points, your baseline. If you received aid, the number that you got to with aid, and then another line of HP lost in the ethereal. Or ethereal HP, or something to denote what your new hit points will be. Which, as you fail saves, should you fail saves, you will take your base maximum hit points, reduce it by 1, and put that in as the new value. So, Heliwrast, for example, has 125. If she fails a check, her ethereal hit points will be 124.
Understood.
It's okay.
Whatever your ethereal hit points is, set that as the maximum on your actual sheet, like as it changes. Obviously include aid as well, but make sure you, before you've made changes, you've written your baseline down from where you started with coming in, before aid, before ethereal losses, and everything like that, so we can keep track. Because in theory, you can return to that maximum, so you don't want to lose that number with sufficient enough magic. Like, let's say you lose 10 over the course of the adventure in here. You could, in theory, get that 10 back with sufficient magic and intervention. Alright. What would you all like to do? You hear there's something nearby. You don't know what it is yet.
Maybe we should just try and sneak by them.
I nod.
Can I make a
Sorry, go ahead.
Done it?
Can I make a perception check to see if I see anything?
Certainly. Make a perception check.
Nudge a little closer.
Make a stealth check as well. You have a plus 10 bonus.
Okay.
23. Nothing seems to be disturbed by you. Taking a glance, Dunan. It's not that it's too difficult for you to spot. You feel confident you could get a good view of what's going on. Even with Siegfried's dampening effect on the sounds that you make, you are wary of the danger of trying to get this look. Do you push forward? to try to see what it is.
I look back and just nod and take 2 steps more forward.
Okay. I'd like you to make me another stealth check.
Yeah.
And there's going to be some rules against you now.
Sure. Nice.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Dunan, as you step up, you see a strange creature. It looks humanoid, gaunt, but still wiry muscles. The stomach is caved in as if it is a victim of perpetual hunger. This is clearly some type of undead entity. And as you take those last 2 steps forward, you see it turn its head towards the group of you and let out a keening, chittering sound from its mouth. I'd like the group to roll into initiative, please. As the slow procession of the unknowing adepts is alerted to you. Alright, token initiative.
I would like to switch initiatives with Siegfried or Jaya. Which of the 2 of you thinks you'd be better off going faster?
I think Jaya should go before me.
Jaya? Okay. I'll swap with Jaya then.
Okay. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not rolling Heliwrast in until she's here. And we're moving to combat.
Just a heads up, I have a pretty hard stop at 2 just because I have to pick up my mom at the airport.
Oh, good.
So I might just pop out at that time.
Oh, good.
As we go over a little bit.
Not to worry. Let's get my initiative tracker to a reasonable spot. There we go. Alright, top of the round. Aeolus, you hear this chittering sound right after Dunan hit a few of the stones that tumbled with those last 2 steps that he was trying to stand on to see what was going on. We lost Dunan?
I think we just lost Dunan.
Seems
Oh,
abrupt.
no.
Oh no!
It's alright, he's lowered
Not
initiative.
anymore.
Aeolus, what are you doing?
Okay. Oh. Okay. Cool. Then Dunan's back. Awesome.
So are we up higher or we
You were lower, about 15 feet.
Okay.
It's about a 15-foot elevation change from about where Tang is to about here.
Okay. Then Aeolus is going to step a little closer and is just going to fire at one of the ones he's able to see.
Okay.
So
Firing from this low position, do you have sharpshooter? Or do you ignore cover?
I do not ignore cover.
Okay,
So
go ahead and
I
make
would
your roll.
have to get closer.
Yep, you can get closer. They have pretty decent cover from your lower elevation.
Okay, then yeah, then I'll step. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. I'll step up to here.
Okay.
And I will
yep.
fire at the one immediately to my right.
Okay. Yep, 19. Yeah, absolutely hits them. 7 points of damage. Does not seem to have any resistances
So
to
then
this.
This is cold. And the bludgeoning was for the preloaded bullets.
The full shot? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Another 8 on top of that.
And if it's still standing, I will fire a second time.
Okay. Go for it. Reload fire. 22 hits for another 14 on top of it. Looking really rough already.
And I will inform the group that we have company.
The chittering goes on if it turns towards you with this wicked-looking cleaver. It looks like it's been made by just tearing bits of metal, like strips of flesh off of a body. As we come around to Jaya with Dunan on deck.
Take 2 steps into an ethereal plane and look what happens. Okay.
They're also 15 feet above us, if that changes any of your choices.
She has flight.
15 feet of this.
Oh yeah, she can fly.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
So yeah, I'll just fly up and engage with this one.
Okay.
The usual stuff. Lights on immediately.
Bonus action blade song? Certainly.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Spend the uses.
Hit it with this.
19 hits.
19 to hit.
Absolutely. Yeah. Does not seem to take poison damage.
Cool. All right, and then I can still use 1 to arc, right?
Yes, you may. 19
Yeah,
hits.
19.
6 points. And it does not continue the arc.
Cannot roll odd on that damn damage to save my life.
Who was it that got the chain? Was that Heliwrast that was
Me.
rolling? It was Dunan? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got like 5 in a row.
He rolls.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's just easy.
Alright, that brings us to Dunan with Tang on deck.
Oh, whoop. You said they are 15 feet above us?
Well, they were. You're no longer at that lower elevation. They're close enough
Okay.
to you.
I'll run up to this one.
Yep.
To protect Eos. While running, I'll mutter some words and cast Divine Favor as a bonus action.
Absolutely. Excellent use of bonus action. For the next minute, no concentration. Get a bonus 1d4 radiant.
And I'll smack the one right in front of me.
2 attacks.
Uh,
First
third-
attack.
First attack, yeah. Oh, God.
14 hits.
14 hit. Okay.
Yeah, and you have the Divine Favor in there already. Perfect.
Yeah,
For 14
sweet.
points. It is still standing.
Second hit. Boink.
Also a hit. With that, the muscled, wired chest cavity of this creature sort of caves in for a moment, and it just lets out this rattling, chirping sound as it collapses, unmoving. There's a few twitches before it does not move anymore.
Can you quickly enlarge? Ah, yeah, that's what I wanted to see.
Oh.
Sweet. Cool. And then I'm gonna move him right in front of Heliwrast.
Certainly.
Hold the shield up.
That'll bring us to Tang with Siegfried on deck.
I am figuring out where I need to move to.
That's a fireball.
Yeah. Tang actually has Fireball. It's just she can only use it whilst an ally is within its space.
I had flashbacks to the Tyranny game.
I only
was like-
fireballed the Warforged. It was fine.
I got fireballed quite a few times as my second character.
Well,
You're
I
built
mean,
for that.
Kalon, in our first campaign, Kalon lightning bolted Sebastian a bunch of times.
Yeah.
They just happen to always be there.
That's because I use fun lightning bolt, not shitty lightning bolt.
Yeah.
Ricochet lightning bolt.
I'm fire resistant, so that's all I need to say.
I don't. It's not actually fireball that Tang is measuring.
Yeah,
Just for future reference for anyone.
Aeolus gave away the armor that would have given necrotic resistance to me, so I'm kind of happy about that, but
And
Aeolus kept
Alright, what'll be
Okay.
Tang?
I'm going to brandish my holy symbol and use turn undead.
Okay. Go and
So the
drop that in
three
chat.
that are closest to me. Yeah.
Are you flying right now, Tang?
Wisdom save.
Yes.
Okay. Wisdom saving throw. Oh, lovely. They have advantage. Fail. I'll mark the failures with a pip. These two fail. The
DC
third
18.
succeeds. DC what?
Okay.
Yeah, 18 you said?
It's a DC 18.
Yeah, the third barely succeeded.
Yep.
The third is the one next to Jaya?
No, this one.
Okay.
Oh. Shit. So many.
Yeah, that one's slightly too far. Okay.
Yep. So that means they are turned for 1 minute or until they take damage.
Yep, which is they flee at their top speed away from you.
Yes.
Alright. And if you become incapacitated, the condition also ends. Can you put up a destroy undead or the higher level version of this because you're a higher level cleric as well, please? Because I believe they take damage. Built into it, that doesn't stop the turn. Seer undead, that's what it is. So go ahead and roll 5d8.
Man, this probably smells terrible. Searing corpses.
So each of them takes 15 points of radiant damage, and that does not break the turn. Pretty good. All right, that's your action. Anything else? Movement? You've done? Good.
I've done my movement. I've done my action. I'm going to use my bonus to cast Magic Stone.
Okay. You have a stone going. That brings us to Siegfried, and we will do the Unknowing Adepts, and we'll pick up an initiative next session.
Sure. I'm just going to move up next to Aeolus, and I would like to cast, using the ring, Wall of Ice, blocking this path.
Okay.
I believe that's an action. And then,
you said Wall of
I
Ice, right?
Yep, Wall of Ice. Let me just ping the spell. I drop concentration on Pass Other Trace, and I think I start concentrating on Wall of Ice.
Correct.
I'll ping the spell.
I think it's 100 feet, right?
Yeah, it's pretty long. But yeah, I don't really care about how long it is as long as it's blocking off this passage to them. So maybe make like a weird U like that. Since this gap is a little smaller. So I'm concentrating on that, and then bonus action I'm going to go
Use
into
this for
archery
Wall of
form.
Ice.
And then I will take a shot with archery form at this guy.
That's one of the turned ones.
Yeah, they're gonna run away, right?
Yeah, so don't touch them.
The turn
Yeah.
ends if they.
If they take any
sorry.
damage...
So, yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah. So I will target this
Okay.
one. We'll target. I thought you were talking about this guy.
No.
The red ones will,
30.
if they take any damage
30.
other than Seer Undead
Okay.
when I cast it.
So okay, so I will target with my archer form at
35.
this guy. A shot.
Alright, so there's the Wall of Ice. It's connected to that building
Missed,
on the south, and then it goes off the map on the east.
Yep, and I missed, so that is my turn.
Natural 1. Yes, you did. Alright. That'll bring us to 30 feet away. These come closer. This goes 30 feet away. Can't quite get Jaya. It'll dash. There we go. Alright. Jaya, you have 2 of them that are attacking you. They are each going to make their 3 attacks. A bite, a claw, and a cleaver attack. Starting with the claw. For the first one. 10 to hit you. No good. The cleaver is a 10. The bite is a 7. Fantastic. Claw for the second, a 9. Cleaver is a 10. Wow. And the bite is an 11. I can roll great today. That is
Like they're not
their...
even trying.
I made 6 attacks. I didn't get higher than a 15.
Yay.
Alright, that is their entire turn. One of them is fleeing. 3 of them are contained by a wall. And then the others have pushed in towards the group of you. And we will pick up at the top of initiative with Aeolus next session. Also,
Which is not next week.
correct, it is not next week.
Oh, because you
We're not
guys
playing it.
are going to Yuletide, right?
Correct. And
Have fun.
next week
It was
you will also
so
have
beautiful.
the other creatures that have shown up.
Other creatures?
Cool.
Yeah.
Do
Maybe next time we don't send the person with disadvantage to check out the spooky noises.
we
It's fine.
do we see this hole? What's that big boy?
All right.
Aww.
Hello. I got that right.
Oh, I'm so
It's no
excited.
session.
Correct.
Looks like
Next
you're the
session
dwarf
will
tag,
be...
like the shadow tag.
Where's my calendar?
It's the
22nd.
Sure. Yes, that. Sound good?
Cool.
All
Hell
righty.
yeah.
Sure.